Don't wait till the battle's over. Don't wait till the struggle ends. Shout now, shout now, right now. Shout now, shout now. Don't wait till you make it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the PHILLIP Show. I hope you're having a great day. It's awesome over here. Grab your coffee if you haven't already. I'm up here knocking stuff around because I'm excited. So today, let me just shift us back together. Today, I'm super excited because we have an awesome saxophonist here. And it just happens to be my friend, and I'm so excited. I normally don't give a whole bunch of background, and I normally don't go into who I know when I interview them and where I know them from and all those things like that. However, I have not spoken to David or seen David in so long, so I'm super excited that he is here. We're going to jump into everything that he is doing. He started to teach himself by ear how to play the saxophone, which is crazy because he's amazing. At the age of 11, he's gone on to do so many things in music, and he has a band, and they're called EFlat, and he's going to tell us all about it and how you can see them coming up soon. David, what is going on?
Philip O'Rourke, what is going on? I'm moving and shaking, staying busy.
Listen, yes, you are. Man, how long has it been since I've seen you?
My gosh. It's been a long time. I was trying to think the other day. I was like, have we seen each other since college? I don't even know. If we have, it's still been forever ago. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying how hard it is to determine, how the time intervals between when you saw somebody last because of social media.
True. Exactly. Very true.
I see them all the time. It's like, dude, it's been 20 years. What are you talking about?
Right.
Oh my God. So how are you doing? Where are you?
I am doing well. After college, I came back home. So I'm in Columbus, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah. Hometown.
Yep. Hometown, Columbus, Ohio. I was looking at something that we used to look at in college. I'm not gonna tell you what it was, but I was looking at something we used to do in college. And like the nostalgia comes back, and all of the jokes come back, and the places come back, and the people come back.
Yes.
So.
And I just thought of one when you said that instantly. Playboy dummy. Yeah.
That is so funny.
Those were the days.
They really were. You just never know how good the days are until you look back on them.
Right.
Wow. So wait. Okay. So you've been a musician since you were grown when I met you because we were in school, but you learned to play the saxophone by ear?
Yeah.
Now, I have a few questions about that because you're so proficient at it. And when we first met, you were a master then, and that's been years ago. So you're like a double master. You're like a black belt in saxophone.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. How did I play the keys? How did you decide, hey, I think it's going to be a saxophone, and P.S. I'm sort of sweet at it?
I actually, when I was younger, there were two guys that actually used to come to my church and play. We used to fellowship with another church, and they would come and they would sit on the front row and they played the saxophone. And I don't know what it was about it, but from the time I was little, I was just enamored with it. So I would go and sit either next to them if there was room on the front pew, or I would sit behind them, and I would just sit there and just watch them. And I just was like so amazed with the saxophone. So I told my mom and my dad that, when I got to an age where I could play, I wanted to play the saxophone. So they stuck with it and stuck with me with the decision and got my first saxophone. But the story behind me playing by ear or learning and teaching myself, there's a whole story behind that. So
hey, we got time.
Quite interesting story. So so when I first started, I took lessons for like about a year and a half. So fourth grade is when they first start introducing instruments. But at that time, you can't play woodwind or brass instruments. It only could be, you could do percussion, and then I think you could do like stringed instruments. They wouldn't let you do the woodwinds and brass. So they tried to persuade me to play other instruments because I was so eager to start. And I was like, no, I'll wait, because I wasn't really interested in anything else. I knew I wanted to play the sax. So Mom went with me. We went to pawn shop, the first saxophone. I looked at it. We tested some out, and I got my, first saxophone. So I started in with music class, and the first day when I picked it up, he was showing us how to hold it and how to blow through it and everything. I don't know. It was just like, it just kind of ignited something in me. It just kind of came to me easy. It came really easy to me. So within that first week, I had started, teaching myself how to play different things, and I just really start picking it up. So anyway, we had a piano in our house growing up. It was one of those old school, like ragtime, like type pianos. It was a really old piano. I still to this day, I need to ask my mom I don't know where that piano came from. But anyway, so me and my sister used to like kind of tinker around on it or whatever. We weren't really playing anything, but you hear a song and you like hit, one finger the notes and stuff or whatever. So anyway, it just so happened the first song that I learned on the piano, kind of clunking around was Lean on Me.
Oh,
I think a lot of people played that song, it's real easy, simple. So anyway, get to music class. He's teaching us different things or whatever. So we have been learning notes and learning how to, hold the notes and take breaths and all that type of stuff or whatever. So we had worked our way up to our first song that we were going to play. So he goes around and he starts passing the sheet music out. And guess what the song was? It was Lean on Me. Yeah. So I'm like stoked. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I know this song. I'm all excited. And he like, of course, at that time I was a kid, so I didn't know any better, but he got like, I could tell his whole personality, his mood, everything kind of shifted. And he had like this crazy look on his face. And he was like, he just kind of stopped and he stood there for a minute. And he was like, we're not going to play this song. So he literally went around and collected all the sheet music from all the students.
Wait, that's because you knew it?
Yeah, because I knew the song. Yeah. So he was livid. So that was my first bad experience with the music teacher. Yeah. So I went to, so then I went on to 5th grade, and it was weird back in the day how they did it. The school was kind of broken up. So we went to 4th grade, and then we had to go to a whole nother school for 5th grade. Oh, okay. So I went to 5th grade at another school, and I had the music teacher there. So anyway, I had started, like I said, that was when I did like a half a year. So I had started with band class, and by that time I had learned quite a few songs, and I knew how to improvise and do some different things. So we would, do our warm-ups and stuff like that at class, in class. And this one particular day, I had forgot my music book at home. So we got ready to start playing, and he realized that I didn't have my music book on the stand. So he never called me by my first name. I don't know why. He always called me Dennis. So he said, Dennis, where's your music book? So I said, I forgot it at home. And he said, well, how are you going to play the songs today if you don't have your music book? So I said, I know all the songs. So he said, there's no way you know all the songs. And I said, I do. So he tried to embarrass me in front of the class. So he started calling songs out, and I would play them. And then he got it to maybe 3 songs. And of course, all the kids in the class are going nuts. They're like, oh my gosh, they're freaking out. They're like, oh, how can he do that? That type of thing or whatever. So the more they did that, the madder he was getting. So he's like furious at this point. No. Yeah. So after like about the 3rd song, he stopped me and he said, well, we're learning new material today and you don't have your book, so you can't learn it. So he, like, as a punishment, sent me to the practice room for the rest of the class period.
The only person that didn't need to practice.
Yeah. So that's the story. And he ended up actually he gave me an F in his class, and I was one of the best. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, that was the breaking point for me. So
was it hard for you to learn the music? Because I can play the keyboard, I can read the music, but I learn by ear. And it was very difficult for me to continue to read the music once I learned the notes. It was hard for me to just keep reading because I knew it already.
Yeah,
so
and it was very hard. That was the thing for me too. At that age, it was just a natural gift. Like I never, honestly, I mean, I could read some of the notes, but when I was playing, I was just playing from memory or I was playing by ear. I was never really reading the music as I was playing. And I wasn't doing it intentionally. It was just like my recall for the music, which it just was there, was naturally would come to me. So I could just repeat it back. And so, yeah, that part was really hard. So, it was once I started playing by ear and I got really fluent with it, like it was pretty much over as far as trying to read.
So you were at Kentucky State, but your major was what?
I majored in child development and family relations.
Okay. How come you didn't major in music?
So I always had I was always nervous about that because I knew, in band, and I mean, I could play and I could have, played in the band, and, people asked me to play in the band, and actually the music director like sought me out and was like, hey, I want you in the band. And it was just never really my thing. As far as marching and stuff, because, of course I was in gospel ensemble and I love gospel ensemble. Yeah. I love the musicians there and the musicianship. So that was good for me. Like I was in heaven. Yeah. So, yeah.
And that was closer to home too.
Exactly.
You're familiar with playing in church and that just the environment. So you got your music itch was scratched in gospel ensemble. So you felt like you didn't need to major in it? Because I'm curious to see how somebody who has the gifts that you have and the talent that you have, how did you decide to say, you know what, I'm not going to actually major in that? Because I'm sure there's somebody going to be listening or watching that's like, hey, I'm doing good music, but you have options. So I was curious to see how you chose early childhood education.
I always had always loved kids. Kids always were drawn to me. And me and my sister actually had thought about opening up a childcare center together. But that wasn't the move for me. But she actually did. She actually followed her dream and did it. But like I said, I kind of shied away from, playing or trying to be in a band, like as far as reading sheet music and that type of thing, because I didn't know how to read sheet music. So, and it just kind of like, because a lot of people ask, even in school, like, why aren't you majoring in music? So, yeah.
Got you. Well, then you were in school, you were in gospel ensemble, you leave school, and now all of a sudden there's EFlat that's doing some incredible things. Now, what just happened? Like, how did you get to EFlat and, the enormous success that you've been having? You're coming up on your 10-year anniversary. Yeah. Where did EFlat come from?
So once I got back home to Columbus, I, was playing in church again, and people start calling me for different events and stuff like that to perform for weddings and, anniversaries and banquets and that type of thing or whatever. And so every time, and I always, when I got to the point where I was, playing pretty good, and I was meeting different musicians and that type of thing, I always had a desire. I'm like, I would love to, have a band. And so, being in school and everything, it was so much going on, and the timing and everything wasn't right with, school. And then, we were traveling a lot with gospel ensemble and doing different things like that. And then, of course, school itself, trying to keep up with my schoolwork and everything like that. So when I got back home, right. So when I got back home, it was like the timing and everything was lining up. Everything was perfect. And actually, I forgot to mention this. So before I left for college, I did have a a small band for a minute. It was like a little gospel band. We were called the Sounds of Praise. So
Okay.
it was just a trio. It was keyboard, piano, and sax. And we used to play at church, and we played for different church functions. And I think we did a couple like wedding receptions and that type of thing before college. And then of course, everybody kind of went their separate ways.
Yeah.
So when I got back home, I got tired of kind of like trying to run people down, like different people, because I was playing with a lot of different musicians, and I knew what I wanted as far as the sound, and I knew, what I wanted the instruments to sound like and how I wanted us to sound collectively. And I have heard different ones, and I'm like, when I start my band, he's going to be in my band. When I start my band, I want him, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So, one day I just decided to do it. So I had started working on things, and I got on the phone and started making some calls. And surprisingly enough, everybody that I asked was like, "Oh yeah, I'm down. Let's do it." Wow. So it just kind of all came together. So that's how we got started. And we started in 2013. And by it took a while to get going, get the name out there. And I think by like 2015, we were booking gigs, and then like 2016, it was like blew up. We started getting calls from everywhere for different events. We ended up playing for, I think our first big major gig was for Black, what was it called? Black Caucus of Local Elected Officials. So we played for that. It was like on a rooftop hotel, and yeah. It was awesome. It was awesome. So after that, it was just like, I don't know. It was just like the windows of heaven opened up, and we started getting a lot of calls from, we ended up playing for the mayor. I mean, it was just like the sky's the limit. Yeah.
Well, you all won some awards too. You won the Kia 2020 Small Group of the Year Award.
Yes. Yeah.
There's a Wedding Rule in 2022 Editor's Choice Awards.
Yes.
So you're not just the group that's going to play at the cookout. You're like playing.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have been blessed. Truly, a lot of doors have opened. I thought it was a scam or something at first. I thought it was some kind of joke. And then I looked into it, and I'm like, oh, this is like for real. This is legit.
Well, now we're coming up on your 10-year anniversary. Congratulations. That is,
thank you, sir.
That's incredible. And I know as musicians, that's something totally different. A lot of people just try and stay together, and your band is celebrating 10 successful years. And tell me a little bit about the event. Tell me about your gala event. Okay,
so I have a lot of things. I had started playing in this about a year ago. I knew I wanted to do something big for the 10-year anniversary. So there's going to be a red carpet. It's a formal event. So we have, of course, the band will be playing. We'll have a DJ. There's going to be amazing food. 360 photo booth. So it's everything is going to be going on. It's going to be jumping.
Wow. What now? And clearly, you all are playing there.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So for everybody who's watching and for everybody who's listening, I'm going to give you all the information where you're able to get tickets so you can see David in EFlat, and you'll also be able to follow along either on social media or whatever, book them, whatever you want to do. Get excited about the 10 years that they have like behind them now. It's incredible. I do have a question for you though.
Yes.
So with you playing, a lot of people have skills and a lot of people have talents. One of the things that I love about your story is your family. You all are so tight. And I think you probably get this a lot from when people meet you and they meet your family. How big of a role did support play for you in you being able to follow what you want to do?
Yeah. My family is absolutely amazing. I'm starting to get teary-eyed. But yeah, my family's amazing. We have always, my mom and my dad, growing up, taught us to support each other. So we always supported each other in anything that we were doing. So anytime I was playing somewhere, my family was there if they were able to be there. When I played my first song, like we all made sure we rallied around each other and supported each other. And like you said, we are a very close-knit family, and they always supported my dream. Always supported my dream. Especially with my mom, my dad, purchasing my first saxophone for me, and realizing that I really was into it and I wanted to do it. Because, there was a lot of other things. Saxophones are not cheap. There's a lot of things that they could have done with that money. And they could have told me, well, we can't afford a saxophone right now. You may have to, play the clarinet or whatever, but they did whatever they had to do and sacrifice to make sure that I had it. Yeah.
And being working with kids, and you still work with children now?
Yes, I do. In a different capacity. So, but yeah, I do.
Working with kids now, and with your background, with your tight-knit family, and again, it's just so wonderful to hear and wonderful to see. The world right now is sort of at a pass. We're at a crossroads, and there's a lot that's going on. From your experience in your profession, and just from your personal experience in the family that you're in, what can we do as, I don't want to say a society, don't speak on behalf of society, but from your perspective, what do you think is missing, or what can be inserted to kind of help in either engage or encourage the youth?
I think for sure, or for certain, that one of the things that's missing is the way things are now. Everybody's in like a rush. Everything it's the microwave, the society. We want things so fast. We want everything right now. So a lot of things are getting missed. And I think some of those things that made us the family that we were, sitting down, doing homework with your kids, having those family dinners and having those talks at dinner time about, what's going on in your day, how's everything going, how's school, those types of things really helped us create that bond. And I think now, like I said, and I'm guilty of it myself too, like everything we're just on the go so much, so we've steered away from a lot of those core family values. And I think if we can get back to some of those things, that definitely the world would be a better place for sure. But I think that to me, I think is one of the key factors.
And I love that you said that, because sometimes people think of, I guess, tradition, if you will, whatever that tradition was, they look at it in that capacity and they don't see the impact that those things can have. They don't see the impact of dinner together. They don't see the impact of asking, how was your day? They don't see that as a formula or an equation to make success as far as a tight-knit family, a family that nurtures and cares and grows and supports. So I'm so glad that that you mentioned that, and I'm so glad that your family did that with you. Because it makes a huge difference, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you for that. I that was off script. So thank you for giving me healing the world and making it a better place for everybody. So what do you want to see? We're going up to 10 years, your anniversary. It's going to be on September the 17th from 6 to 9 in Groveport. What do you see for EFlat and for David Dennis, saxophonist extraordinaire?
So right now I'm in the works, or there's some music in the works that I'm trying to record. I'm going to be doing some solo projects.
Here we go.
Yeah. So I'm going to be also recording some music with the band as well. So that should be coming soon. Hopefully before the end of the year, I will have something out. So the time is right. Everything is kind of lining itself up. So the time is now. So I'm trying to strike while the iron is hot. So
David,
Yeah.
what do you do in your spare time, if you have any? It doesn't sound like you have much. What do you do in your spare time?
I stay pretty busy. I love spending time with my family, of course, and I do a lot of things with my girls. I have 2 daughters, so we do a lot of stuff together. I always want to show them how a man is supposed to treat a woman. So I take them out on dates and show them, like a date night and what that's supposed to look like. And they are musicians as well. So, and my oldest actually plays the saxophone. My youngest is a percussionist.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And
so they love music.
One of them is a little entrepreneur, right?
Yeah. My oldest daughter has her own health and beauty care products. So
yeah, I can't. Y'all doing too much over there in the in the household. Well, that's awesome, David. It's so great to see you again. And,
great seeing you as well. Yeah, it's been too long. Can't let this happen again.
No, it can't. We're not really that far away. So I mean,
I know.
There's really no excuse. I was telling somebody the other day that I'm so used to being so many miles away. So I'm not accustomed anymore to saying, "Oh, I'm only 45 minutes away." I'm so used to being a flight, like a whole flight away.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can't see them until the next 20 years. But we'll have to fix that. I told you before, and I'll tell everybody on here that I have my ticket for the gala, and I will be there in my lime green suit and my patent and my patent leather shit. I'm joking, but I will be there. I will be there.
Yes. Looking forward to seeing you. It's been too long.
Yes, it has. I look forward to seeing you too. Thank you so much for stopping by and chatting with me.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, that's David Dennis. The memories just come back. It is so interesting. I'm so proud that he has continued to pursue both of his passions, his passion for children and music, flourishing in both. And I love the center of it all. It's talking about growing up in church and the supportive family. And that's a message that we all can learn from and encourage. Remember, EFlat's 10-year anniversary gala is on Sunday, September the 17th from 6 to 9 p.m. You'll have all the information that you need. Go to phillipo'rourke.com to learn more. And as usual, you are the best you in the world. I'll see you next time here on The PHILLIP Show.
Don't